to celebrate the anniversary of the first oval track race ever held in the United States at Narragansett Park, September 7th, 1896. And right now we're looking at the site of the original 1-mile dirt track on which that race took place. We're looking at the first and second turn where the bleachers are built up. That bank right there was part of the first and second turn of the Narragansett Park Raceway. This was the home straightaway for the 1-mile dirt track, and the track extended out there onto the city streets. Once again, the first and second turn, you can see the bank that formed the first and second turn of the 1-mile dirt track. 100 years today. It's just incredible. We had to be here to celebrate this event. John Palmer's 32, Bob Carroll's 9. Pete in the 77. Okay, Norm Haller in the 5. There's Norm. There's Corky Cookman's dad. Floyd's number 7. '43, owned by Bill St. George. Henry Smith, 27. Tom Curley's 11. Now that's cute. How you doing? Charlie and Mary Lima's 2X. Dale Murrow's 01.
The track's still wet, but so you know, it isn't quiet for some reason. All right, I'm gonna do a head count. How many people, just raise your hands, will stay here if we decide to run this thing today in the snow? Everybody's hands go up. All right, now out in the pit, how many people out there? Are we bringing cars out?
You'll be all right. I guess you can tear that up. Okay. That's what I told you to go find them.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I know. That's why I married you. Okay, you're welcome.
Bug Stevens, number 15.
And there's going to be a limited edition of these.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, I know.
Bobby Knox is 25.
$10. Extra, extra light. Only black.
Okay.
The Marvin Chase
No
M5.
more signing up.
All right.
I don't think we need to explain this car.
Go on, turn it down a little. Test 1, 2, 2. Test 1, 2.
That's a beautiful sight. All here to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the first oval track race in America. Right on these hallowed grounds.
Yeah, plus like a lot of like. Got a lot of them, but I don't know. First is right. Reverse is straightforward. You go to Thompson on Wednesdays normally? No. No? That's right.
This is our good friend Joe's car. This is an original Danbury big car. It ran here at Narragansett Park in 1915. It is a nice old Duesenberg. I believe it's the second oldest in existence. There's Joe. Gonna take the hood off for us. I'm trying to remember his last name. He did some books on Duesenbergs. No, Bob Silvia.
Who is he? Is he here?
He's oh yeah, he is.
We're trying to figure out who he is.
Oh, I can introduce you if I
I think I've read some of those articles, but Henry Ford was the first guy to really go to slicing that top off and making them two different pieces, you know?
Well, I think that's a little... Oh, yeah? I would say somebody thought of it before Henry Ford, but he certainly developed more than most because he realized it was an easy manufacture and ease of repair. The other issue was the fact that also head gasket material and other stuff like that in that day and age wasn't really all that good, so you're blowing head gasket all invested all the time. You know, and the quality of the metal would change. So from a manufacturing standpoint, I think, I mean, a lot of cars like that aren't.
Something in would be like right around here.
Yeah, a lot of work. There's a house right there.
This is the place. Narragansett Park, 1 mile dirt track.
I never went into this. I used to go into the office up there. We saw her on the road something. I'd like to say hi to her.
Hey, Uncle.
Hey. What's that Dave Humphrey say?
What's the one his brother-in-law?
There's Big Bob.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to envision what it looked like. This must have been like 22. And then like not really I'm glad it didn't, but I was worried.
Before we get started on this, first single track race ever held in the United States. The great little city of Cranston, Rhode Island. We had a lot of activity here in Cranston, and the mayor is just going around with his chest sticking out, and who knows, he may want to become the capital of Rhode Island at the rate the Little Leaguers are going and the very first race held here. But all this didn't come about. It took a lot of hard work and a lot of wonderful people. And although I wouldn't dare forget that the girls made some beautiful looking cakes, which we will cut later. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the individual who put this all together. And I mean, he worked very, very hard to get it done. He's been an auto racing fan all his life. There's a rumor here that he was selling Dell's lemonade at this 100th this race 100 years ago. And John Hardy does not want to admit that. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who started it all and has done a great job, an Indianapolis official, race car expert, and you can go on all afternoon talking about it, but I'm worried about the rain coming, so we're going to turn it over right now to John Nardi. John?
Thank you very much, Wally. You know, I want to start off with a thank you. We're going to get into something else right away, but I want to thank all of you who have taken the time to come here today, from those who have transported cars quite some distances to those of you who have come from within the state of Rhode Island to observe something that 100 years ago they probably didn't think was going to last another week. And here we are 100 years later observing it. Well, listen, I want to get off on the important part of the program now, and I have a distinct honor of introducing a person. If it were raining and there were snakes crawling out of the ground, he'd feel right at home. He's a former, went through the Green Beret training, Ranger, instructor at West Point, graduate of Harvard, I believe, a lawyer, more importantly, a congressman. I'd like my distinct pleasure to present to you my good friend, Jack Reed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm privileged to be here and to be joined not only by John Nardi, who's a dear friend, but our great mayor, Mike Traficante. And Cranston truly is an historic community. And most recently, we made great history by being the home of the National Little League champions, the Cranston West Little League, and we're all still very proud of those young people and what they've done. But 100 years ago, oval racing in the United States began just about right here in Cranston, Rhode Island at the Narragansett Speedway. And that was a historic moment, and it started a national phenomenon that today is one of the largest spectator sports in the United States, auto racing. It's very popular. It involves the participation by literally millions of Americans each year as participants and spectators, and we feel proud in Cranston to be the home of oval auto racing. Now, about 100 years ago, 50,000 fans came here to the Narragansett Speedway to witness that first race, and we are symbolically standing in their stead today. But it was a different type of race than what we expect now as we watch on TV or go to Daytona. It was part of a one-week series here at the Speedway. It was a 1-mile irregular dirt fairgrounds track, not the ovals that we see today with the hard top on it. And when the starter began the race, the call was, quote, "Now go if you can." I think there was not quite the confidence in the mechanical ability of the machines then that we have today. The race featured 7 contestants, and the eventual winner, Mr. A.L. Riker, covered the 5-mile distance in the remarkable time of 15 minutes at a speed of about 20 miles per hour, driving a homemade electric-powered vehicle. We've come a long way. For years, though, the Providence 100, which was the name given to these series of races, was one of the top stops on the Speedway Tour. But today, auto racing covers about 950 oval tracks throughout the country. It entertains millions of Americans. It increases our technology by all the innovations that auto racing has produced, so that we produce, as we all know, the best automobiles in the world. And it started here in Cranston, like many great things started in Cranston. Like Mayor Travacani and myself, we started in Cranston. But I'll just conclude by saying how delighted I am today to join the mayor and all of you to commemorate this historic occasion and to wish all of you well, and also best wishes for the continued success of auto racing in the United States. Thank you so much.
And he's serving as a congressman. He's running for United States Senator. This is not a political affair, but I thought I would mention that at this time. I'd like to acknowledge the help that has been given to me during this whole episode, and it seems like a month and a half of a blur, because I don't know what's happened in current events. I have no idea what's happening with so many things during the last month and a half in putting all this together. But I'd like to call upon noted historian RA Silvia, who has been an invaluable help in this, to please come up and say a few words. Bob, if you will.
Yay, Bob!
Thank you, John. I can only repeat what Mr. Noddy said. I'd like to thank all you people for coming out on this inclement day, and we've got race fans and cars from virtually every state in New England and a little bit out of there. And I'd especially like to thank Joe Freeman, who owns that white Duesenberg out on the pitcher's mound. That car actually raced here in 1915. Didn't do that well, but there aren't many things still around that were around in 1915. And again, it's been a pleasure. I'm sure Mr. Noddy's wife is going to give me heck for getting him involved in this initially. But John and Wally Saliba have done an excellent job in putting all the little details together of this, and can't thank them enough. And I'll give the mic back to Wally.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have a trap door here. If he hasn't given us credit, we'd have pushed the button. John, are you prepared to carry on?
Yeah, we're going to do a little more.
All right.
One of the pleasant duties here today is to recognize somebody who's been a strong supporter of oval track racing for many, many years. And I believe it's like 51 as a very active participant. And this person, when the word went out that we were looking for help to put this together, very eagerly and enthusiastically joined in and made the resources and help of her speedway available to us. And at this time, I would like to call upon our honored guest, Irene Vendetti to please come up here for a minute, please. I'm going to call you Irene. Is that okay? Irene, it's with a lot of compassion and a lot of feeling that we present these to you. It's only a token, but it's a token of our esteem for what you've done for auto racing, not only in New England, but throughout the country. You and your late husband, now your son, thank you.
Honored guests and friends, especially from the racing fraternities throughout the country that have come today. It really is a pleasure to be here. Racing has been part of, well, most of my life, really. We built our track in 1946, and we've been racing ever since. My husband worked very hard, he loved racing, and all I can say is that I really feel very honored to be here today. I think Mr. Nye did a wonderful thing. I wasn't aware that this happened 100 years ago here in Scranton. The first automobile race in the United States. And I think it is a grand thing that you have this celebration. I just wanted to thank you all. And I know I'll always be interested in continuing with racing and throughout my life, and my family also. Our racing at Pecan Speedway is family, and I hope we have many more years to do that. I want to say a lot, but I find it difficult. It's very, to me, it's a very, very, very deep emotion for me to be here today. All I can say is thank you very much.
You know, I think a lot of us who are really wrapped up in this racing stuff do feel a certain emotion about the day that maybe others might have difficulty in following. But I think you'd have to have been involved in racing for a while to get the true feeling, the true spirit of it. But I look around and I see people here like Lenny Poe, who is a long-time official who started out at Seacon Speedway with the old Bay State organization, as I recall, and went on up through USAC. And I know that there are others here. I'm going to leave some of them to Wally to introduce. But I would like to give you some. I wrote out a few things because I knew I'd get nervous and I would forget it. So. And I didn't sleep last night. I was worried about the weather. I want to thank Mayor Trafficante and also Congressman Reed for their cooperation in making this event possible. This is the observance of that very first oval track race in the country. It happened right here. As you look over to my right, the stands between home plate and first base are built on the embankment of where the first turn was of that 1 mile track. So you're right in it. You are on what was the track at that time. Standing on this historic spot is really a special event for all of us today. From the members of the Atlantic Coast Old Timers Racing Club, who brought their beautifully restored race cars to display, and the New England Antique Racing Group, who also brought theirs, to those people who are actually seeing a race car for the very first time in their lives. It's really appropriate that we have this ceremony here. It's just too bad we don't have a racetrack in the state any longer. But there are a good number of people who are doing things from Texas to Alaska and from Delaware to Hawaii today and tonight to commemorate the event you're here for right now. At Perris Auto Speedway in Perris, California, there'll be a special event this evening to celebrate the 100th. The 100th person entering the track is receiving a special award. Also, they don't know it, but the USAC Western Midget Group is running there tonight. That's a dirt track. These are midget drivers. You can relate to this. Before the feature, they're being lined up at the start-finish line, and they're being told they have to sing Happy Birthday to Narragansett Park Speedway.
All right.
I'd like to see Sleepy Trip and some of these people. I hope somebody does a tape of this. I'm sure they will. There'll be 100 programs given out with lucky commemorative stickers in them at another track, and the purchasers of those programs win a particular prize. At Narragansett Raceway in Springville, Utah, there's a special 100-lap feature race tonight in honor of the 100th anniversary. So we've got California, Utah, at Louisville Speedway in Kentucky, weather permitting. The USAC Sprint Cars, the Thunder and Lightning Division, are running there, and it's a commemorative race to salute Narragansett Park Speedway and Cranston, Rhode Island. At Hickory Speedway in North Carolina, that one may be in doubt, and I feel badly, because the trophies that they're awarding for tonight's feature events have already been inscribed with the insignia of the Narragansett Park Speedway, and the date, September 7th, 1896-1996. I'm sure they'll be glad no matter when they do their rain date. At Wisconsin International Raceway in Calcana, Wisconsin, the ARCO Challenge Series is running a stock car race tonight in commemoration of the 100th race here in the 100th year anniversary of the race here in Cranston. Speedway 95 in Bangor, Maine is running a special race this evening, saluting Cranston, Rhode Island, and the Narragansett Park Speedway. And Richmond International Speedway in Virginia, where there'll be a NASCAR Winston Cup race later today, perhaps, is also joining in with a special remembrance. I'm especially grateful, as I had said, to our own Seekonk Speedway and the tremendous support it has given us. I also want to acknowledge the fact that Thompson Speedway brought its pace car here today, and I'm really grateful for that. And Hagerstown, Maryland showed up with its pace car. I hope you had a chance to go by and pick up some material from both Hagerstown and Thompson, because they run some very great events when you're traveling. When you're not over at Seekonk, get over to Thompson and get over to Hagerstown. I received a telephone call yesterday from a driver, Jeff Boss, who's running at Laguna Seca in California today, in Monterey. He said, John, I'm not an oval track racer, but I do salute the 100th in Rhode Island. I'm very proud of it. Can you FedEx me some stickers so I can put them on all the race cars out here? So at Laguna, you're going to have a bunch of guys going down a road course worrying about this oval track celebration. But, you know, it's universal. I think it's a universal feeling. And I'm also pleased to announce that as of last night, there's at least one track in every one of the other 49 states doing something. That was a tough road to hoe. I chased tracks from here to Hawaii and Alaska. Alaska called in the other day. I talked to a guy in Oklahoma yesterday who promotes a track down there, and his wife said, I'll have to get him for you. He's out in the barn fixing the peanut machine. I said, what's a peanut machine? So well, this is peanut harvesting time down here, and that's what he does. He runs the track on a weekend, but he's a peanut farmer. And so, I mean, believe me, I have talked to every person imaginable, everyone you can think of, from Tony George at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway down to the peanut farmer and the others. The Open Wheel Racing Associations have been really strong stalwarts in supporting this. USAC, the United States Auto Club, NEMA, the Northeastern Midget Association, ARDC, the American Racing Drivers Club, the Badger Midget Association, NAMERS, which is the National Association of Midget Auto Racing Series, Bay Cities Racing Association, which is a midget association in California, the Sprints on Dirt, and the All-Star Circuit of Champions have all lent good support to this whole affair. We are indeed fortunate to have such friends throughout the country who will step up and say we'll help when the word goes out. And I think that speaks volumes about the attitude that we all have. Maybe you have to be a part of it, sort of like belonging to a brotherhood or something, or a sisterhood, to really feel it. And at this point, and this is going to be a tough part, there are some who are not here. Some people who are very important in all of this. And I'd like to remember them. The names are going to be familiar to some of you. Al Charbonneau from North Providence. He'll be started in racing. Ed Stone of Belmont, Massachusetts. He ran midgets, Bill Randall, Dick Brown. I was a gopher for Ed. Bob Saul of NASCAR. He was the Eastern Field rep. He's the one who got me aboard as a NASCAR official from 1961 to 1972. Bob Saul ran the Indianapolis 535. He was probably one of the greatest sprint car or big car drivers that you'd ever want to see. Henry Banks, former Indianapolis driver, became president of USAC, who helped me with that organization. And probably the one person who was very instrumental in my getting to where I've reached today with the Indy Racing League, the late Roger McCluskey, who was one of the finest drivers and finest gentlemen that you'd ever want to meet. I think it's pretty evident to all of you that we're in this together. We have this common bond that probably very few others share and even fewer understand. When those 7 drivers started that first race, they had no idea this event would be going on. They didn't know that oval track racing would become the greatest sport in the country. And I want to close by thanking you and reminding you to get out to your local track. When they're gone, you miss them.
Thank you, John. You know, folks, I really do believe he was selling Bell's lemonade at this last race 100 years ago, because no one else could remember all the things he did. I also would like to shut the lawnmower off out there. No, I would also like to mention 2 other gentlemen who were very, of course, you can't possibly mention every single individual who made this possible. But Roland Champagne and Ron Kramer, two of the guys who really organized the Martin area, contacted all the veteran drivers and all the antique people, and had them all here. So Roland and Ron Kramer, we certainly do appreciate it. And along with the list of many people that John mentioned on with us here today, I have to mention my mentor, Anthony Day. He taught me everything I know about racing, and I paid attention to it. Then I taught my favorite brother-in-law how to drive, and they taught me, so here I am. But we can never have a racing party or a gathering or a testimonial without thinking of the godfather of New England auto racing, the late great Anthony Vendetti. Celebrities usually arrive late at the scene. We have another young lady who has been involved in automobile racing for a long, long time. Those of you who've been with auto racing along with us for many, many years, you've got to remember Bertha Small. Bertha. Would you like to come up and say a couple of words, Bertha? We'll make it easy for you.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to be here on my 90th birthday.
Hey!
went by. I think I was the first New England car owner in 1946. So that's many, many, many years ago. I raced all over. Seacount was my first track. And we really miss I miss everybody. And I hope you all enjoyed today. Too bad we have such a bad day, but the sun is going to shine on us pretty soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, we have some fine birthday cakes here, and we also have some Seacount Speedway program here. So at completion of the program, feel free to go over the lovely ladies from the Seacount Speedway will be cutting the cake and passing it out. And now, it is a pleasure once again to turn the mic back to John, who, once again, John, is a hell of a job.
Okay, I'm all better now. My next duty and my final one, then you're going to get rid of me, is a very pleasant one. I'd like to call up a gentleman who has been very, very cooperative during this entire event, who has lent his support to what we're doing. He's a great sports person. I think this may be one of the first opportunities he's had to get close to auto racing. But I think he should add it to his repertoire because he certainly is very much clued in and keyed in on just about every sport that you can think of. He was the favorite coach for many of the kids who went through high school in Cranston, and he's the chief executive of this city. It's my honor to call up now Mayor Michael Traficante for the purposes of making the presentation of the plaque. Now, the plaque is over here to my right. It is being covered right now by a green and a checkered flag. Those are the only two flags they had at the very first race, by the way, was the green and the checker. And those were given to me by Ray Scheike, who is a starter at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He sent them on for this event to be used for this purpose. And we're going to walk over here now, and I'm going to make this presentation. And then the mayor's going to take over from here, because I know he's got a few words he'd like to say. But Mayor, on behalf of auto racing in general, from all of us, this plaque is being presented to the city of Cranston. We know it's going to be displayed in a very nice location. If we have to build another racetrack, though, we want it back. No, this is yours. This is yours to keep with the city. And would you please take the flags off? On September 7, 1896, 7 automobiles took the start of the command. Now go if you can. And raced 5 laps on a 1-mile dirt track on the site of the Rhode Island State Fair. 15 minutes and 1 second later, A.L. Riker crossed the finish line, winning the first oval track auto race ever held in the United States. The track was paved in 1915, and races continued to be held through 1923 when it was disbanded. Period. They forgot it. There was no way I was going to send this back and have it and hope that it got back here in time. That's going back Monday for that period. Known as both Narragansett Park Speedway and Narragansett Race Park, the roots of all oval track auto racing come back to this point, dedicated September 7th, 1996. Mayor,
Please be assured, John, that plaque will be displayed in a very conspicuous spot for everyone to enjoy and to read, and of course, we're very proud of you.
thank you.
I think it's time for some levity here. John was about to cry there for a second, so I think it's time for a few words of laughter. There were 3 gentlemen one day having lunch, and they were arguing which profession was the oldest profession in the world. There was a doctor, there was an engineer, and there was a politician. Well, the doctor started off the conversation by saying, since Eve was made from the rib of man, That was a medical procedure. Therefore, the medical profession must be the oldest profession in the world. Well, the engineer totally disagreed. He said, sir, excuse me. He says, out of chaos, the earth was created in 6 days. That was an engineering feat. Therefore, the engineering profession must be the oldest profession in the world. Well, the politician sat up very proudly, put a big smile on his face. He said, gentlemen, just who do you think created that chaos? Well, I can assure you I'm not here today to create chaos. I'm here today to say to you that I extend you my very best wishes, and certainly those of the city of Cranston. And I want to thank John, especially John and his entire committee, and all the gentlemen and ladies who came here today from all over New England to make this a very, very special event for the city of Cranston. For those of you who do not come from the city of Cranston or Rhode Island, may I suggest there's a couple of great Italian restaurants right in the street here. That's the New Yorkies and the sausage sandwich. They're outstanding. I want you to spend some of your money here, that's what I'm trying to say. This was a very special event for me as well. I did not realize that such history and nostalgia existed in the city of Cranston. Not until John came to my office about a month ago and asked that we have this particular ceremony, and he explained the entire history of oval racetrack driving here in the city of Cranston. And we're very, very proud. He made me very proud to be part of that history as mayor of the city of Cranston. And like I said earlier, this product is going to be displayed with a great deal of pride and enthusiasm, so all can see and all can read, and certainly all can be very proud of as well. I'm sorry that this racetrack does not exist today, because I could certainly use the revenue here in the city of Cranston. I did not realize either that auto driving, auto racing, I should say, has become the most popular and fastest growing sport in the United States of America. I did not realize that. It breaks my heart because I love the game.
Make one in Rhode Island.
I wouldn't mind it at all. How about in the city of Cranston, right at the brewery site? Well, like I said before, we are very, very proud in Cranston that the history has finally been known to me and made known to all Cranstonians and all Rhode Islanders. But I do want to thank John and his entire committee for displaying this kind of history, this kind of nostalgia here on the baseball field for all to see, all to enjoy. Like I said before, we're very proud in Cranston to be part of the ceremony. And John, again, where is John? Right. I can't give this gentleman credit enough for what he's done today for Rhode Island. It's been a tremendous, tremendous feat that he's accomplished with this committee, and how about giving him a great round of applause. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the rest of the day. God bless and good health to all of you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I do want to let you all know also that today has been proclaimed Rhode Island Auto Racing Day by the governor. The governor of the state of Rhode Island, Providence Plantations, extends greetings and congratulations to Oval Track Auto Racing on their 100th anniversary, and it's signed by Governor Lincoln Elman. I also have resolutions in here passed by both the Senate and House, which I won't bore you with the reading, except maybe to give you the tail end of one of them. These were introduced, by the way, by Representative Wayne Salisbury, who was the minority leader in the House of Representatives, and by Billy Enos, the senator, who was the majority whip in the Senate. And both the House and the Senate end up their resolution by saying that they recognize the 100th anniversary of the first oval track race in this country, held on September 7th, 1896, at Narragansett Park Speedway, Cranston, Rhode Island. And furthermore, and I had to put this in because I helped to write it, they congratulate Tony George, president of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for bringing the sport of auto racing full circle back to its roots in Rhode Island. And that Tony George references naturally to the Indy Racing League. So I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank Congressman Reed. I know that Vicky Roddy has got his Foyt and Sachs cars out here now. That's what the push vehicle was pushing before while Wally was talking. And I'm going to turn this back to Wally. Thank you. All set. I'm all done.
We did expect a few more people. That's why we got such a large tent. But the weather wasn't with this reminded me that they have some souvenir T-shirts and hats on the outfield at the trailer there. It boasts this emblem, the 100 Rapids. So anyone who is interested in a T-shirt or a souvenir, Bob has had quite a few of them printed up. Hopefully, some of you people are looking for the souvenirs. John, I have nothing else to say. Bob, how you think? Okay, once again, we thank you all for coming. We're going to cut some birthday cakes over there. Free to everyone, each and every one. And there's some programs there for Seacounty Speedway. Don't forget to visit the people from Hagerstown and Thompson Speedway. Hagerstown, we really should have given them some kind of an award. Maybe we'll give them the big cake for traveling to further. Well, maybe next time we have somebody's birthday, the mayor will give them a key to the city. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. We love you. Hope to see you at the Speedway soon. God bless.
Yes, probably it's not much more than about 100. No, actually more than that. I would say maybe 110, 115. You're looking at 25? The really hot cars of that time were about 125. But certainly, let's have a lot. We'll go right along.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, what year was that? 1914?
1950.
It was built in 15. Yeah, well, back then I guess a Peugeot was with a hot number on the track.
And they had about 120 horsepower. They were hard to believe, but they had double overhead cam, 4-valve for some of their engines.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean,
a lot of cars on the road don't have that yet.
And, I mean, basically it was the first really modern engine that was ever built. And it's an amazing piece of engineering.
Oh, Fred and Augie didn't do too bad either.
No. Once they started into the overhead cams and the overhead valves, they were
oh, yeah.
Lou Frey, midget driver extraordinaire. Yep. Gotta go have some cake.
Yeah.
Gee, you were just a couple years old at that first race, weren't you?
Yeah. Just a couple years older. They're coming down to do your, I don't know, running away.
I thought they'd pack it in. I thought they packed it in. How are you going to eat dinner? Easy. Well, some food just asking for you. There's a place to eat. You're gonna interview the last two cars or what?
Yeah, we're going to get it on my
Oh, yeah. Yeah, low profile.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Hey, I want to get it all wet.
Yes.
There's Vic Girardi, the owner of the two cars here. Little St. George.
The changes, basically the changes that these guys didn't have.
Hi, how are you? Green white.
If we're back again, we'll break them. Okay, I'm rolling. Okay. I'd like to introduce Lou Frey of Shelton, Connecticut. Lou is the driver of this wondrous car, and it really is a wondrous car. It won many, many pieces at the hands of Ed Dutch Schaefer, KRDC fame, and it has historic wins to its credit. And Lou Frey here was one of the original drivers, I believe. And Lou was a former midget champion, and let him explain it. Lou has been around for 100 years.
Probably 40 years.
Yeah, I run ARDC, I run SMRC, ARA, and you name it, a lot of plugs in the East here. And won the Ford Championship for SMRS, one Northeastern. And I used to drive for the guy who owns this car, John Gibbons. And he had this thing in his garage for 20 years. That's the last time I drove it. And,
you have driven it?
At one time.
At one time.
Yeah. And we bought it out. And we just as Dutch Schaefer left it, that's the original Golden Arrow. And so we restarted again and we're having some fun with it.
Now, checking out the other ring.
The sound of Joe Freeman's 1915 Duesenberg. Ran Narragansett and Danbury. Ooh, let me just, let's get out of here. Get out of your way.
Actually raced here at Narragansett Raceway in 1915, one of the oldest cars of its type in existence. And its owner says it can still do about 90 miles an hour.
Narragansett Park Speedway. September 18th, 1915. There's the scoring tower on the left. Whatever you want to do.
I think I always knew that.
Holy mackerel. This is something.
My daughter wanted to come with me, but she was playing soccer. Especially close. I don't know if